Good afternoon, good day, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, May 28th, and we are on our way to Double or Nothing, and I am not the Joker. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce, and so this episode is going to be a little different. I'm having some major technical issues. I've been trying to edit in this episode and fix it for an hour now, so there will be no news. There will be no week in review, which sucks, but you will have the matches of the week with the quick picture. But first things first, let's just do this. Last week we looked at the Sasha Banks and Naomi walkout, the ins and outs of that, and just to give you a quick update on that, because we'll just dive into that. It's going to get worse before it gets better. They've been suspended. They're not getting paid. They're on the active roster, but there's nothing being written for them, and there's no return expected. Their merchandise have been taken offline. Their Facebook accounts have been deleted, but they still have their Twitter. So it's a matter of who's going to flinch first. The WWE put themselves into a corner with announcing a tournament, as they don't have any teams for the tournament. They have two teams: Doudrop and Nikki Ash, and Natalya and Shayna. That's what they have. That's what they have. It sucks. You release Shotzi's partner. Both of our partners, actually, because remember, Shotzi was teamed with Ember Moon first, and then Nixon Newell gone. So what are you gonna do with this tournament? Don't know. Here's a quick weekend review. Raw was okay. Dynamite was pretty good as we moved toward. It was the go home show for Double or Nothing. Impact was the best show of the week, like by far. They had a phenomenal show. They had the best in ring showcasing this week. And Rampage was pretty good. SmackDown was not good. But there's your rundown. Our matches of the week from Dynamite. Check out Ricky Starks versus Jungle Boy versus Swerve Strickland. Also from Dynamite, the Owen Cup semis. Samoa Joe versus Kyle O'Reilly. From Impact, Alex Shelley versus Trey Miguel. Kazarian versus Chris Sabin. Violent by Design versus the Briscoes and Josh Alexander. From Rampage, Bryan Danielson versus Matt Sydal. Owen Hart semis. Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander. And even though she lost, my star of the week is still Chris Statlander. And last week, we looked at the Sasha walkout. So today's show, I'm joined by my man Trooper. We'll be doing the Double or Nothing preview and predictions. And we recorded this on Thursday, and we speculated that 2 more matches would be added. And of course, 2 matches were added. Go figure. And we predicted them. The first one was Darby Allin versus Kyle O'Reilly, confirmed. And some variation of Ty, Conti, and Sammy versus some American top team. So now it's Ty, Sammy, Kazarian versus Paige Van Zandt, who's making her in-ring debut. Scorpio Sky with the new Laker colored flavored TNT Championship, and Ethan Page. But we're just going to dive right into the Double or Nothing previews, joined by my man Trooper. Check it out. All right, everybody. So, Double or Nothing. Now, we're recording this with only one match being uncertain, that is the women's Owen Hart Cup Finals. We know one half of the match will be Britt Baker, which we'll dive into that. But that's the only match that's not fully complete yet. And as you all know, which also kind of shocks me, that Double or Nothing is AEW's WrestleMania, and I always assumed it would be All Out as their WrestleMania, but it's actually Double or Nothing. But yeah, so we're going to do the preview and predictions today, and I'm joined, this time we're not joined by Zombie Reese and Black Wisdom. But shall we go with my man Tyler? What you want to go by? Trooper, Super Trooper? What do you want to go by?
Trooper sounds better. Just I think more people will recognize me that way.
The Trooper.
Yes, sir. How's everybody doing? Thanks for having me on the show, man.
No problem. Introduce yourself. Tell us what you got. Cooking up in the kitchen.
Actually, an esports broadcaster. Do a bunch of different games like competitive gaming. I'm the guy that does the play-by-play usually during like live events and big shows like that. But I'll tell you what, like there ain't no ceiling for that. The dream is if one day you could be like, hey, AEW calls me up and they're like, we got something for you, maybe. Like once I saw one of my colleagues, Golden Boy, he got to do one of the earliest AEW shows, and once I saw that like kind of put me out there to kind of think about that. Like that could be the end game one day. Really could.
Probably Fighter Fest.
Yes, that's what it was.
One of their that's like their TV video game specials. I think Fighter Fest last year was when Statlander made her return in the claw game.
Oh, that was absolutely classic. They still show that in like highlight packages. That's how good that was.
So all right, look, y'all. Double or Nothing. We have 12 matches total, with 1 on the pre-show and 10 on the main fucking card. And AEW shows they're long there.
I mean, is this their longest, or it's got to be one of the longest cards they've had, right?
The previous, or let's look at last year's. Last year's Double or Nothing had. Last year's Double or Nothing had 1 on the pre-show and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the main card. Wow. Last year's Double or Nothing main event was Stadium Stampede, the Inner Circle defeating the Pinnacle.
Oh, that's right. And hey, the buy-in show for this event, I mean, it might be the show stealer. You got Hookhausen coming in for that, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, it's just okay. I'm sitting here looking at last year's Double or Nothing card, and I remember all of that. So, quick rundown. The pre-show was Serena Deeb defeating Riho by submission to retain the NWA Women's Championship. And then the main card, from the first match to the last match, Hangman Page defeated Brian Cage. Young Bucks defended the Tag Team Championships against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston and retained. Jungle Boy won the Casino Battle Royal, lastly eliminating Christian. Cody defeated Anthony Ogogo, which I thought was a bad idea. Miro retained.
Yes. We don't like to talk about that feud anymore.
Miro retained the TNT Championship over Lance Archer.
I miss Miro.
Britt Baker defeated Sheeta by submission for the Women's Championship. Darby Allin and Sting defeated the Men of the Year. The main event was the Stadium Stampede match between the Inner Circle defeating the Pinnacle. But in my opinion, the best match from that show was the Triple Threat match for the World Championship. Kenny Omega retaining and defeating Orange Cassidy and Pac. That match was amazing.
That was 1 year ago?
That was.
I thought that was longer than a year ago.
Last year's.
That's a nice surprise.
Last year's Double or Nothing took place on May 30th. That was 1 year ago.
If I'm not mistaken, the only world title shot so far for Orange Cassidy, right? He did feud with Jericho, but that was he didn't have the title at the time.
I don't think Jericho was champion at that point.
Yeah. Imagine the AEW World Championship changing hands in a Mimosa Mayhem match.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. All right, so let's get into Double or Nothing 2022, taking place at the T-Mobile Arena in Paradise, Nevada, which is, where's Paradise at? Paradise is like right next to Vegas. So
I thought it was directly in Vegas.
We're slowly getting the WWE and AEW started. They're getting a little close because don't forget, Next week's show will be the Hell in a Cell preview, which takes place in Chicago, Rosemount, Illinois, which is pretty much Chicago. And then later this month in June is the Forbidden Door show, which takes place in Chicago.
I mean, just looking at how AEW and WWE in the last few years have conditioned their fans, I can't wait to see how different a Chicago WWE crowd is versus an AEW Chicago crowd, because in my opinion, it's night and day based on reaction.
I mean, we've already seen AEW beat the WWE in Long Island when the new UBS Arena opened up.
You can thank MJF for that, I'm sure.
WWE couldn't sell any tickets for that show. They were doing like buy one get one free. They had advertised.
Oh my god, I remember the buy one get one. Oh.
And then AEW said we're just going to go there a week and a half later, and they just fucking sold out the entire arena. And they're going back like every year, and they're starting to get a hold of the New York market because Tony Khan confirmed that Grand Slam will be happening every year at Arthur Ashe Stadium. They sold out Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Say less. I mean, I feel like for them, especially with the upcoming show at the Forum in LA, that's going to be a huge step for them, and they keep making waves in these sectors that previously you never thought that they would end up making it to, and a lot of that is based on obviously WWE has had the market cornered here, but it's so funny to see just in the short span and lifespan of AEW that there are towns that they clearly are just dominating the entire market.
Yes, and they sold out. They're about to sell at the Forum, which rarely ever happens for pro wrestling.
Oh yeah,
this is big news. But let's get into this Double or Nothing. So the pre-show, we have Hook and Danhausen taking on the team of Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. Just for the uninitiated, Mark Sterling does wrestle, and he kind of specializes in comedy wrestling. So how did we get here? Essentially, Hook is Hook. He's dope, and Danhausen has been trying to curse Hook, and Hook's immune to it. And Tony Nese, who really didn't get much fanfare coming into AEW, but they were smart by. I don't even know if this was intentional of them not giving him any fanfare and then putting him with Mark Sterling. So Mark Sterling is the lawyer manager of Tony Nese, MJF, and Jade Cargill.
Yeah, I think he is incredibly underrated. He has helped elevate a lot of people that he's worked with. I mean, Jade Cargill even be one of them. Like, I remember at first seeing them paired up, and I didn't know anything about Mark Sterling when I first saw him in AEW. And the fact that you said that he actually does wrestle, I didn't even know that. That's news to me, because I've only known him as a manager, and just in that role alone, I've been like incredibly impressed with what he's done. He's wildly entertaining.
He's legit. So
I mean, he's taking that pin, right?
Yeah, Nese is. Nese murdered Danhausen in Danhausen's first official match in AEW. Just murdered him. Match went about 30 seconds.
Wait, Nese murdered. Right. Yeah, that was very. I mean, people there like audibly gasped when that happened, because people were probably like, "Wait, I thought like they probably expected Danhausen to be like secretly OP, but it's like that's what happens when he can't get his curses, man. It's just it all falls apart."
Waiting on this eventual Danhausen Orange Cassidy feud.
Oh, please inject that in my veins.
There are certain points where, when it comes to like a wrestling show and a pay-per-view, some things are just obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Hookhausen's winning this match.
100%. I mean,
it's going to be like Danhausen's going to show you some things. Oh shit, he can actually do stuff. But it's going to be really competitive when it's pretty much Nese versus Hook. And you'll have Hausen and Mark Sterling do all the comedy stuff, but it's going to be entertaining. And if they don't add any more matches to the pre-show, and I don't think I'd
be shocked if they did.
Will, because I don't think only match I see them probably adding to the show would be Darby Allin versus maybe Kyle O'Reilly, since he Pillmanized Sting. Or
Damn, Darby's not on the card.
Darby's
I didn't even notice that.
Neither is
Wow.
neither is FTR. I can see them. I could see them adding FTR versus Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan to the pre-show, but I think they might be saving that for Vendor. But I don't think there's going to be any more matches on the pre-show. So this is very obvious. Hookhausen is winning down.
Every day of the week, they're winning this match.
The question is, does Hook get the choke out, or does Danhausen hit his finisher? I don't even know what the fuck Danhausen's finisher is.
I don't think anybody does. That's a good question. I mean, I completely think Hook is going to just demolish, get the pin, but I would be nice surprised to see Danhausen actually do a little something, especially after the showing that Tony Nese like just totally thrashed him when they were in the ring together.
Yeah, I don't even know.
He needs a little comeuppance, I think.
Yeah. So we got that. All right, so I'm going to go in the order of what Wikipedia asked for me. Let's a solid order. So the next match we have is Jade Cargill defending the TBS Championship versus Anna Jay. Now here's my thing. I think they actually wanted to do Jade versus Statlander.
Mm-hmm.
But Statlander had to replace Sheeta in the Owen Hart Cup.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense, because that's what it seemed like it was kind of heading towards. And with Chris Statlander, they're slightly getting this new edge to her, which was probably needed. Like, I did like her to begin with, but she was also just kind of in limbo. So I think that's the best thing, especially for a lot of people in AEW. Like, you'll have that. Luckily, they slowed down with the debuts after a while, because so many people can get lost in the shuffle. Like, even we just said 2 minutes ago, like, Darby's out of the card, FTR's out of the card, because they have so much talent.
Yes.
So like that definitely. I think the best thing for a lot of people is repackage, and you're guaranteed to get at least a little more airtime.
Yes, if you get repackaged in AEW, you will actually get a push, unlike the WWE.
Unlike the E.
That is something me and Emma actually just said this past week in a tweet and shit that got into a fan. Also, you fans need to chill the fuck out. Like, relax. But so Anna saved Chris and Ruby from getting beat up by the baddies, and confirmed immediately was Jade versus Anna Jay for the TBS Championship. Jade has already defended the championship once against Anna Jay, and Anna's lost, but Anna is always getting better, and I know Anna was top 5 ranked, so you can justify the match. So the question is, does Jade lose the championship here? I
don't think so. I mean, I think what's funny is that, like, Anna Jay and Ty Conti, they were a good pairing, but now Ty Conti is just getting hated on alongside Sammy Guevara. So it's probably best for Anna Jay to just be in this role now, where she's just kind of moving solo. Because, I mean, when especially like I'd say about a year or so ago, she would have been more, I think, in line to take this win. But now, I don't know, like, as like comparing just how they've built up to this match, like Jade is she is the final boss as far as women's wrestling goes in AEW, like, and she doesn't even have the main goddamn title.
Yes. Love Anna. I think Jade is winning this.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's a dirty win too, because if she's got the baddies in her section, they might even try to instigate that type of a finish just to build up more heat. Yeah. But I mean it's obvious. Jade is a tweener, like, for sure. I mean, she's supposed to be a heel, but people, how can you not love her though?
Tony, cut the shit. I just now know. I noticed that every day, like, oh, she always tells Tony to cut the shit. But yeah, Jade's. Who's gonna beat Jade?
That's what I have no idea.
I think it's Ruby.
I really don't.
I think.
You think?
We'll get it to Ruby.
Okay.
All right. So Jade over Anna. Next match, we've got the a possible. It's so funny. Almost every match on this card can potentially steal the show. The House of Black, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody Key taking on the Death Triangle, Pac, Penta, Oscoro, and Rey Phoenix.
Yep.
This is one of the 2 or 3 matches where the winner is a toss-up.
And also you said that all these matches have steel showing potential. I mean, this one, honestly, this is going to be low-key one of the best matches on the card. I say that because I don't think a lot of people are instantly going to think of this match based on how large this card is, but every name in that match, I mean, especially now Rey Phoenix finally back on pay-per-view match, like, they are going to pop off.
So I'm going to go with, sadly, a WWE trope. I'm going to go with the 50-50 booking, and that's because the House of Black took on Pac, Penta, and Eric Redbeard on the Revolution pre-show with the last match before the main show, and the House of Black won that match. So I'm going to go with the Death Triangle to win. I just that's simple.
I mean, I feel like I think they're going to win too, although it would make sense to me if House of Black takes this, just because they are still building them up in a way, like they're, especially, I mean, Buddy Matthews was the third most recent one to come through, but he's like, we all know he is an excellent wrestler, and he just never got to show it really in WWE.
No man should have a body that looks like Buddy Matthews.
It's ridiculous.
He is. He's. I don't. It's like they CGI'd his body.
He looks like an action figure. He looks like he would be the easiest wrestler to make into an action figure.
It's
like his finisher is super underrated too. I love his finisher, and the way he snaps and does that so fast, like, dude's just crazy talented. So like he's perfect, a perfect pairing, I think, with House of Black.
This is
Damian Priest is just sitting over in WWE looking at House of Black like, damn, that would be so cool.
But he's got the Judgment Day, though. He's in the Judgment Day, who look great.
They look great,
but when they talk,
sounding great, that's another story.
I'm gonna take Death Triangle to win, and I'm gonna go with Penta. I'm gonna go with Phoenix pinning Brody King.
Okay. I can dig that.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Because in factions, there's all in a faction or a trio, there's always that one lesser who's supposed to take most of the pins, and in House of Black, you would think would be Buddy Matthews. Whereas in the Death Triangle, can somebody really take the pin? But
I mean, it's never going to be Malachi. That would be surprising if he took the pin in any of their 6-man tag matches. To be honest.
Now I could, because the feud isn't finished. Do we get a Julia Hart appearance?
Oh, are they finally going to wrap up this storyline?
And they keep Brody King, Julia. They're like, just let it play out. Shit been playing out for like 6 months.
It's been going on a while.
And Julia is committed. She's committed.
What I love is that, like, they didn't think of... So every time you see her, right, she's brooding and just sitting there and just, like, staring at the floor and not saying anything. But then, like, you see her picture on her match card, and she's, like, super smiley, and then they badly photoshopped an eye patch over her. Like, couldn't they just take one new photo of her with the eye patch on, like, looking like she does? Like, that doesn't mesh at all. But I mean, it seems that they're kind of on the fence with what the hell they're going to be doing with that.
All right, so we have it's so weird AEW can just give you a dream match, whether it be on YouTube, Rampage, Dynamite, or the pay-per-view. I mean, they gave us Daniel Bryan. They gave us Bryan Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki for free on YouTube.
I still can't believe that. I mean, they gave us Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson on free TV.
On free TV. So
And those dudes beat the dog piss out of each other.
So we have another quote unquote dream match, but this match has actually happened before a few times actually. We have the Hardy Boys taking on the Young Bucks. A dream match. Now mind you guys, this match has happened in Ring of Honor, happened in Impact, well, I'm sorry, TNA when the Young Bucks were Generation Me. Which was a dumb fucking day. And this was the inevitable dream match when it's like, oh, the Hardy Boys are teaming up, are reforming in AEW. Who do you want to see them face? It was like, well, Red Dragon and Penta and Phoenix, FTR. But the one match was like Hardy Boys versus Young Bucks. Duh. Hardy Boys versus Young Bucks.
I mean, you know, they like you said, they're good for. There's so many people now on the roster. I'm not even talking now this New Japan crossover that they're going to be doing, but the amount of dream matches that we could get, that they could give us dream matches for as long as they want. Like keep sprinkling them in, and this one is something that's been. I mean, how long ago was the last match in TNA? I mean, like probably a decade.
Let me check. So let me just do Matt Hardy.
So I mean, between the Hardys and the Young Bucks, I mean, it's kind of funny how like Young Bucks were always pretty sought after in terms of from the independent wrestling circuit, but I think they were also in the same boat as like a guy like Kenny Omega who was holding his ground. They didn't want to go to WWE because they're really kind of worried about the creative control there, and they've wrote their own ticket. Clearly, that's why they're so popular. But the fact is, like now, like the Young Bucks, which they're absolute legends already, and with the Hardys, enough said. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know who's gonna win this one.
Could it end in a draw?
It's got to be the Young Bucks, right?
What was the Young Bucks? The Young Bucks, hold on.
I mean, I'm thinking like
Revolution. Did they fight at Revolution? Yes, it was the triple threat match for the tag team championships. So
it wasn't even a regular 2-on-2 match.
So now, like, I'm just thinking back at their. I don't think did they wrestle at Full Gear?
That's a good question.
I'm looking at it now. They did not. No, they did. They took on it was the False Canadian match. It was Christian in the Jurassic Express versus the Super Click. When was the last time these two had a regular tag team match? How did I think? Like, what's the last time these two dudes had a tag team match? That was a good match though. It was a little long, but
yeah, that's a good point.
You could be saying it about every fucking match Sunday night.
I know, and you know what I mean. At least for me, like most of the time when you watch a wrestling show, it doesn't really matter if it's AEW or WWE, but you'll look at the card, you'll kind of pick out a couple matches that you think, oh, this will definitely be match of the night. This has potential to be match of the night, and then surprisingly, there is like a match that you're like, that didn't really do it for me. Like, there's usually it is rare, but it does happen where every match is a banger.
Is this
like? Also, the rough part with that is like it's good to have I guess maybe you call it a squash match or just a shorter match on a pay-per-view card, because when you got matches, especially the list that we're looking at, like the crowd, they're gonna be pretty exhausted. Am I right?
Yeah, I know. I have an idea what the squash match will be, but we'll get to it.
Okay.
Hardy's Young Bucks. Like the Hardys just got back. I'm having a hard time picking a winner here.
Yeah, I gotta go Young Bucks.
I think I'm leaning towards the Young Bucks as well. I think like both of these teams are at the point in their careers where I tell people all the time, there are certain wrestlers especially heels, they reach what I like to call the Chris Jericho level, where they can lose a match and they not be hurt by the match. The Miz is there, Sami Zayn is there, Baron Corbin is there. I think when it comes to faces, I think the Hardys are there. Like Matt and Jeff could just lose and they'll be all right.
Nah, yeah, they're on the they're on that, reunion tour. They're just playing the hits, so everybody is going to be happy to see them regardless. There's never going to be a point, I think, now where they're going to lose that aura now that they're back together, because people have been waiting for it for so long.
And I think the Young Bucks have to start looking good again for the hopefully eventual Kenny Omega return this year. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Young Bucks as well.
Yeah, I'm comfortable picking them on that one.
All right. Then, so we don't have Stadium Stampede. We have Anarchy in the Arena.
So do they specify what the stipulation exactly is?
Let's see. 21 Anarchy in the Arena. It's going to be Anarchy. I'm gonna just let's see what Jericho said. This is just probably just gonna be a highlight video.
Is the AEW video game going to have an Anarchy in the Arena match or a Stadium Stampede match?
What the fuck? I guess it's a match for the sports entertainers. I have no idea what to expect. I don't know though the rules. I
wonder if it's going to be like a backstage only match.
Well, you figure the Stadium Stampede matches worked because, well, one, we were in the middle of the pandemic, so they could just use the whole stadium. But like, you're not going to show. Well, what they did with the Stadium Stampede matches were that they filmed the match. They would film the match either before the show or while the show's going on, then only have the wrestlers come out once they ended up finishing in the ring. So that way, the stuff that they filmed, they would just show it to the arena crowd, which is kind of like a cool down, and then finish in the ring. So could that be the case? I don't know anything about this match. All I know is that it's the Jericho Appreciation Society, and I don't think Eddie Kingston understands that wrestling is a work.
No, this is it's still real to him. Damn it,
it's real to Eddie Kingston, and Jericho's shooting fireballs in motherfuckers' faces.
He's a wizard.
He's a wizard.
Dude, I swear he comes up with a new genius gimmick every 8 months. It's just, how is he so good at this?
So
like he's like patent or like what? I guess patented, copyrighted, whatever the word is, trademarked. The term the influencer, didn't he? Or he at least
trying to.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough to do. But if he manages to pull that off, that would be amazing. I mean, like
he's trying.
He keeps a wizard. Like,
so here's the question. Question is who's winning? This is tough because honestly, both of these teams are fairly new. The Jericho Appreciation Society is new. The Blackpool Combat Club. Just a note: Wheeler Yuta is not in the match. It'll be Bryan Danielson, Moxley, Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. Wheeler Yuta, I believe, will be wrestling in the New Japan Super Juniors tournament. So that's that's why Wheeler isn't in this match.
Oh, I thought he was just sitting on the sidelines, but that's a pretty damn good alternative, I'd say.
So we got William Regal on the sideline. So both of these factions are new, and is
Regal going to get his hands dirty though?
I think so. So what I think gives Jericho and Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Matt and all them that to give them advantage is that, well, mind you, that Jericho pointed this out in a promo 2 weeks ago, that Eddie and Bryan Danielson don't like each other, and The last time Moxley and Ortiz were in the ring together, they were trying to take each other's eyes out. So there's history, there's animosity there. So can William Regal keep the BCC and Eddie Santana and Ortiz together to take out the Jericho Appreciation Society? Now this could go just like the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle feud, where the heels win the first match and then the faces win the second match and the third match, because if you remember the first match in the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle feud, they started with blood and guts.
Yeah, that's true. I thought that's kind of where this was heading, to be honest.
I do think we will get a blood and guts match.
The thing is, they're not going to have that match unless it's on a pay-per-view, and I mean, now that they're having pay-per-view gaps, like three months roughly.
Blood and Guts took place on Dynamite.
See, I forgot about that.
Blood and Guts match. Let me make sure. Concept. The first one took actually all the Blood and Guts matches have all taken place on Dynamite. They've had 2. 2020, 2021. The first one was the Elite versus the Inner Circle, which the Elite won. Yeah, the Elite won that one. And the second one was the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle, which the Pinnacle won. Both matches have taken place on Rampage. On Dynamite.
Okay, I remember the MJF pushing Jericho off. I do remember that now. That was on TV
with the fucking boxes under the fake.
Yes.
Floor. I'm actually. You know what? I'm going to go with, because if you really compare the teams, when we go by basic logic and everything, the BCC and Eddie Santana Ortiz should win the match. They have the better team. Yeah, as in individual members, but the JSA they're a team. They've willingly come together.
I mean, Matt Menard or like Danny Garcia, they're eating that pin, I would think. Or like it's going to be a similar ending to a lot of those BCC matches where it's just like multiple chokeouts at the same time.
Kill everybody. I mean, I can see JAS winning with possibly the Faces getting their heat backs with something with William Regal. But I'm going to actually pick the Jericho Appreciation Society to win this match.
Ooh, interesting. So, I was, you know what? I think that's a good call. Although I'm going to have to say, I'm going to go with Blackpool Combat Club, Kingston, and Santana Ortiz. Because I personally, I feel like Eddie Kingston, if they win, I feel like he's getting the pin in this one.
And that's how, remember y'all, that's how this feud started with just Eddie and Jericho. That's how it started. That's how it started. All right, so the next match is what I do believe will be the squash match, and this is MJF versus Warlow.
That's what I thought you were gonna. I figured this is gonna be squash.
I think that it may. So there's a stipulation that if Warlow wins, he will be granted his release from his contract with MJF, and if MJF wins, Warlow will be permanently banned from signing with AEW. When you put stipulations like that onto matches, you kind of telegraph the ending.
Yeah, unfortunately. Although WWE is going to be watching that match like, come on, MJF. They're going to be hunting down Warlow if he doesn't not able to sign.
So I don't really need to doubt. Warlow's winning, everybody.
Yes. He's getting his music. He is going to powerbomb MJF to the other side of the planet. It's going to be glorious.
Yeah, they put the stipulation on. It's so funny. I remember when somebody was like, wait, you telling me Warlow never signed? Warlow never got the whole Warlow's all elite? No, Warlow is an employee of MJF.
And that's nice attention to detail, that they never had that Warlow is all elite post or announcement. Never did.
Yeah, we see. I'll point to the women's division. Sky Blue, who we see all the time. Kylan King, who is part of the Nightmare family, who we see all the time, have never received the All Elite, but AQA, who was an NXT reject. Now it's not me shitting on her, but so you got to pay attention to the details. So MJF, Warlow, I'm expecting a squash, not like a 30-second. I'm thinking maybe 5 minutes. I remember there was a match in Emiro's TNT Championship reign. I want to say he was defending against Eddie Kingston, and I thought that should have been a squash, and it wasn't. There was when Big Show took on Billy Gunn on a pay-per-view, that should have been a squash, and it wasn't a squash. It went like 10 minutes.
Dude, I forgot Big Show even existed. Where the hell did he go?
He works backstage, but him and Mark Henry do commentary for Dark Elevation. It's hilarious. They are Big Show, Mark Henry, and Taz. Their commentary together is amazing.
I actually need to watch more of that. Because it is pretty amazing, and there's like unlimited content based from them for Botchamania. It's too good.
So yeah, that's the should be a fun match. Their story has been built very, very well. The one thing everybody probably with the exception of Jade and a J, almost every match in here has some kind of complete story built to it. But our next match is the finals of the women's finals of the Owen Hart Cup. So one side is Britt Baker. She'll be taking on the winner of Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander, taking place on Rampage yesterday if you listen to this. So here's my thing. Britt got to the finals by defeating Toni Storm. I swore up and down, left to right, that Toni Storm was beating Britt Baker, and then Toni lost.
A little bit of a sloppy finish too.
And a sloppy finish with keep your ears to the streets, people. The tide is slowly starting to change on the Britt Baker love. People are really finally starting to see her for her. Like, once you get past the DMD and the mic skills, she's just average in the ring, and she wins once again all of her matches by interference. And Toni Storm explicitly stated that if anybody was to get involved, she's gonna fuck Britt Baker up.
I mean, what's funny is like the length of time that she's been at the top of the card, but like when you watch her matches, it's like she's not really fluid. Not like some other women that wrestle in AEW.
If you guys ask me, Jeremy, can you between WWE, NXT UK, Impact, AEW, and select free agents, ranking them when it comes to in-ring ability, which I take in-ring ability first. You got to be able to wrestle in the ring first. I don't care if you look good, if you can talk on the mic, if you can't do something in the ring, I don't care. Where would you rank? Where would you rank Britt Baker? I do this at least once a week. She's outside of my top. She's outside of the top 30 when it comes to in-ring ability.
Did you say 30 as in 30?
30. Just I'll give you.
I can't hate that.
Just as a quick aside, we can look at when it comes to, I'm not talking about character work, I'm not talking about mic skills, I'm talking about just in-ring ability. If we stick just in AEW, Emi Sakura, Hikaru Shida, Chris Statlander, Layla Hirsch, Mercedes Martinez, Nyla Rose, Riho, Ruby Soho, Serena Deeb, Ty Conti, Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm. I just named 12 women, all in my opinion, with all better in-ring ability than Britt Baker. That's 12 on the AEW roster alone.
I mean, damn, could you imagine if like you have Britt Baker versus the Bunny at one point? Man, they would put on a clinic.
And that's what and the Bunny's a veteran in this business. She's good. She's like the hardcore.
She's gotten way better, for sure.
She's also a former. I'm almost positive she's a former Knockouts champion. Ruby versus Chris. Like I said before, I think they're telling a good story here. Ruby's kind of main rival since coming to AEW has been Britt Baker.
Yeah.
And Britt's been needling her that she can't win the big one. So I'm actually, because of that, I love Chris. I'm picking Ruby to, remember y'all, we're recording this before Rampage, so I'm assuming I think Ruby's going to win. I'm going Ruby to beat Chris, because I think Ruby's going to beat Britt, and Chris Statlander is going to be the one to defeat Jade for the TBS Championship. So
that's a good call.
I'm picking Ruby Soho to finish that storyline, to win the big one, defeat Britt. So now Ruby has the Owen Cup, Chris can go after Jade, and Tony can come after Britt, and they can really get their feud on and going.
Did they establish winner of the tournaments get title shots? I would assume so. Unless it's like the Andre the Giant where they just get a big trophy.
Each one, the respective winner receive a trophy, background, tournament. They just get a trophy.
I mean, we all understand, right? In wrestling, like, if there is a contract signing with a table, someone's going through it. If somebody wins a trophy, it's getting smashed over your head at some point. So I'm waiting to see who that's going to happen to.
We're looking at the Andre the Giant. Looking at you, Andre. Who do you have winning this match?
I agree with you. Haven't seen Rampage yet. I would agree with you though that Ruby is going to win. I mean, my brain says Britt Baker. My heart says Ruby Soho. You know what? I got to go with Ruby Soho because I can't imagine they would have Britt Baker go over her. Because again, right? Because I mean, didn't they already do that once? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Britt's championship defenses were Thunder Rosa, Anna Jay, Nyla Rose, Ruby Soho, and Riho. And remember, Ruby was the Joker at the Casino Battle Royal, and that's how she got her title shot. And Britt won that match. And then Ruby also lost to Jade Cargill in the finals of the TBS tournament.
Oh, good point.
So
she's due for a big win.
I'm picking Ruby.
I completely agree with that.
Now, this next match, it's the men's final. I think it could be a squash, but I could also see it not being a squash for a very reason is, so the final is Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole, and I truly believe smart money is on Adam Cole just because I think Jay Lethal's going to get involved and cost Samoa Joe the match. Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like a phenomenal match on paper, although you would think that Samoa Joe would just handle him. But then again,
it's Adam Cole.
It is Adam Cole.
He's made a name for himself. So it's going to be
I mean, is he going to be able to do a Panama Sunrise on Samoa Joe?
You can do Panama.
He's done one on didn't he do it on Keith Lee or somebody equally that size, right?
You can do a Panama Sunrise one, and you can do a Panama / Canadian Destroyer / Code Red on
Actually,
anybody.
I remember, didn't he do one on Keith Lee in NXT when he was defending the title against him?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's proven. He could do that on anybody.
So I'm sticking with Adam Cole to win. I cannot deal with an Adam Cole and Britt Baker winning the tournament's finals. I can't deal with it.
The fact that they're both in the finals is bad enough, but I completely agree with you. Like, Jesus, man. How that went over backstage.
So I try to be logical.
Oh yeah.
Adam Cole, just because Joe's got to go into this feud with Jay Lethal and my man Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh.
Yeah.
Now, we always say, I think every match has the potential to be good. I actually think this next match might just end up being the match of the night, and that is the triple threat match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships with Jurassic Express, the reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight tag team champions of the world, defending against Team Taz, Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, and the team of Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. If you watch the triple threat match that Ricky, Jungle Boy, and Swerve had on Dynamite this past week, AEW, I honestly believe the best matches that they do are 6-man tags and triple threat matches.
I agree with that too. Yeah, and another reason why a trios title is well overdue.
Let's just go back to Revolution. Jurassic Express were defending the tag team championships in a triple threat match against Red Dragon and the Young Bucks. That match was fire. So, here's the thing. At some point, Christian is turning heel, and they're going to feud with Jungle Boy.
Is it going to be here? Do you think?
I think Jurassic Express's reign is coming to an end, and I want, as much as I love Keith Lee and Swerve, I really want Ricky Starks and Hobbs to win this.
I want Starks to hold double gold, even if people don't really recognize the FTW title as a real title. It's still that image of him holding double gold. That is like perfect for Ricky Starks' character.
Does Christian go heel here, or do the Jurassic Express lose, and then we do a further slow burn with Christian going?
I can see that. So I could see it going two ways. I could see Christian screwing them over, and then that starts a program with them two. Or I could see it going the way where they lose the match, and then Christian turns on him the next week on Dynamite. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that could even be a major possibility, because he's shown, like, the cracks are already there in the armor. He's been very condescending to Jungle Boy and different things like around there. So I could see him just like blowing his top officially, like when you least expect it, rather than just like blatantly costing him a match. I actually, now that I'm thinking more about it and saying it out loud, I can't see him turning by doing that, because I feel like the way that it's kind of been built up, that'd be a little extra. I feel like it's going to be more of like they lose, and then he's completely unhappy with them, and then tries to throttle Jungle Boy. I mean, I don't know how he's going to do that with Luchasaurus by his side, but I mean, we'll see, because it's just Christian. Nobody's got his back.
Yeah, so and Keith Lee and Swerve just got here. I was actually there in Atlanta.
I gotta say that, man, that is a great tag team. Although, like, they were born and died in like the same week when you had, what was it? Ricky Starks called him like a broke ass Keenan and Kel. I'm like, oh man, he didn't have to do him like that.
And also, guys, notice about these tag teams, they each feature one small, quick guy and one big guy.
That's such a perfect formula for this match.
Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, Keith Lee and Swerve.
I mean, have Keith Lee do a vault over the top rope a week before the pay-per-view was risky as hell as it is, but man, he landed so hard on Hobbs.
He looks
like Hobbs took all of that.
I need my man Hobbs to get a W, man. I need my man.
I agree.
I'm picking Ricky and Powerhouse Hobbs, Team Taz. It's a clean sweep for Team Taz tonight, baby. Clean sweep.
I love that idea. I think you nailed that one. Keith Lee and Swerve, too new to win the belts here. Jurassic Express, that reign has been dwindling down, I think, and it would be. I think it's a perfect time for this change, because Ricky Starks has been built up wonderfully. He is killing it, and the fact that he was able to bounce back from his neck injury that he had is amazing, because man, like when that happened, it was like he was already doing well, and it was like, fuck, like what a setback. But now, like he's just better. He's as good as he ever was, if not better.
Yes. All right, guys, coming to the close, we got two more title matches. we have the AEW Women's World Championship. Thunder Rosa defending against Serena Deeb. This is Thunder Rosa's second defense, with the first being against Nyla Rose on Battle of the Belt. So let me lay this down for you guys. I'm a huge Thunder Rosa fan. Since she's won the championship at St. Patrick's Day Slam or whatever, she's only appeared on TV for a little over 20 minutes. She has only wrestled one match, which was Battle of the Belts. Yeah.
I mean, when she won the belt, that next week she comes out on the stage, literally didn't get a word in before somebody interrupted her, which I believe was Nyla Rose.
Yes.
Which it's just like, it already got off to a rough start, but it's like, is this what's more to come with that? I mean,
and
you gotta give her more of a chance than that, you know?
I just think, see, and here's the thing. I want Deeb to be the one to defeat Thunder Rosa for the championship, but not now. Like, with this match is gonna be so good too, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, I always get curious about the order that the matches are listed on Wikipedia, because, like, I don't think it's always in this order, because I'm wondering where they actually do put this match on the card, because I want this match to get a lot more hype from the crowd, but I can imagine whatever match does go right before the main event is probably going to suffer a little bit from that.
I could see what they did at Revolution, and what they did with was it Revolution? I clicked double or nothing. Hold on. Revolution. They ended with Adam Cole, but the match before it was okay. So for Revolution, the final three match order was Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. Then it was the 6-man tornado tag with Darby and Sammy and Sting, and then Hangman. So what I can see them doing here with Double or Nothing is going Women's Championship, Anarchy in the Arena, and ending with Hangman and CM Punk.
I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't be surprised if they wait to put MJF and Wardlow on later in the show, though.
That could also be the cool down match.
Yeah, because like you said, it's probably going to be the shortest match.
Yeah. This match between Deeb and Rosa has a little bit. They've been trying to give a story. Deeb's been cutting fire promos. And
she has.
Thunder cut a really good promo this past week. She showed up as Melissa, not Thunder Rosa. And when you show up without the war paint on, it's like it's just like when Eddie called into Jericho when Jericho was on commentary. He's like, "Dog, I'm gonna hurt you." Thunder Rosa was like, "Yo, you touch my mentor. You want to call?" This is going to. It's got a good time. It's going to be a good match. Serena Deeb and Deonna Purrazzo are the two best technical women's wrestlers on the planet. So it's hard for them to have a bad match. Yeah. And when I say like I say with certain people, like it's like my favorite women's wrestler in the WWE is Io Shirai. You know how hard it is for Io Shirai to have a bad match?
Yeah, good point.
I think. See, the difference between Deeb and Rosa and Britt is that neither Thunder nor Deeb need to kind of carry each other. They're good. Thunder Rosa's winning this match. It's only her second championship defense. So
she can't lose the belt
she's winning this match. I mean, and they built up Deeb very, very well. Deeb won the feud against Sheeta.
I know.
She beat Sheeta twice in Philly, and she tapped her out twice.
I'm still pretty devastated about that. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, didn't she also beat her when she was trying to get her 50th win? Wasn't it that
was in
same?
Philly.
Yeah, same thing.
That was the.
Jeez.
That was the.
People were freaking out.
Yeah, that was the
in that crowd.
That was the anniversary show.
Mm-hmm.
They got too many anniversaries. So this past week's Dynamite was the anniversary of AEW, but the show they had in Philly in October was the Dynamite anniversary.
Because which is funny. So it's only been 3 years, but I don't remember. So like, I remember, didn't AEW start like later in the year in 2019? Like, what did they have before Dynamite? I thought they always had that show.
What happened with them was they had All In, and they started building a roster. They announced Dynamite. They announced the premiere date for Dynamite, and that's when WWE moved NXT to Wednesdays, and they moved NXT to Wednesdays 2 weeks before Dynamite was to premiere, so they could we got a head start, and then they proceeded to lose.
And they effectively killed the brand by doing that.
Pretty much, I think they won the ratings 3 out of maybe 60 weeks.
Not a bad win percentage there.
Effectively killing the brand. So yeah, Thunder Rosa is going to win. She's going to win with the Thunder driver. Deep can fall back down, disappear, which I don't have people seem to have a problem with wrestlers like showing up, having feuds and losing. Tony Khan explicitly stated when for AEW that wrestlers are going to get rotated out.
Yeah.
So,
which makes the most sense.
Thunder Rosa's think about it. At some point, we're going to see Miro again.
I was just gonna say Miro. He's a great example of this. Like, once he comes back, he is going to go on a damn tear.
So we're going to see Penelope Ford and the Bunny again at some point, which I wish they would use both of those ladies a lot more. They're the two most athletic women besides AQA.
Yeah, Penelope Ford is a really, really athletic.
So I think it's safe to say we can assume Thunder Rosa is winning this match.
Yes, 1000%.
And the main event, which they've been trying to add some heat to this match. I don't know what the fuck was that promo that Hangman cut on Dynamite this past week. I'm defending AEW from you, or does CM Punk have actual heat backstage?
I've been hearing mixed signals all over the place.
I'm confused.
Are we working ourselves into a shoot? I don't know what the deal is with this, but I'd say that they've towed that line pretty well.
Don't work yourself into a shoot, brother. So here's the thing. Hangman's defended the championship twice against Adam Cole. He's defended it against Lance Archer. Most people forget that he actually also defended it against Dante Martin, because at one point Dante Martin was number one in the rankings, and he also got Dante Martin over. That's also how you put over a loser, people.
That's a great point.
Has he defended it against anybody else? Dante Martin, Adam Cole twice,
Lance
Archer.
I do remember he did defend it against somebody that was a pretty surprising opponent, but I think you nailed it. It was I believe it was Dante Martin. Everybody else was much higher on the card.
The Dante Martin match was actually the opening match of Dynamite, because it was like, oh wait,
yeah,
Dante Martin's number one in the rankings. What the fuck?
If Dante Martin's on your card, you'd be better off starting the card or Dynamite with him. Like, people tuning in and he's in the ring, you're gonna stick around.
So here's the thing: this feud, whatever, this phase, it's hard to do face versus faces feuds, because inevitably you're gonna end up cheering for somebody and booing someone else. So this joint really got heated up when CM Punk, I forget who he defeated, but he beat the person with a what's the name of Hangman's finisher?
Oh, the buckshot.
Buckshot. He beat him with a buckshot, and Hangman was on commentary. So the
I don't remember who he wrestled, but I remember when he did that. It was pretty sloppy buckshot too.
That was the point. Like, you can't do it better than
Nope.
the original. I totally don't remember who he faced. Was it Lee? It was Lee Moriarty.
Good one. Yep. You nailed it.
It was Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty's also very good. And then the following week, CM Punk's on commentary, and Hangman wins with the GTS, taking on Konosuke Takeshita, who's also very good in the ring. So right there is when it started getting heated up, and now these two are having face-to-faces. I'm still stuck on this fucking promo from Hangman. Like, what was that promo? I like
he seemed to be speaking from the heart on that one, which is pretty surprising.
It's just
now, like he had, I don't know what it was. He had like some more gusto or whatever you want to call it in that promo that I didn't expect to see from him.
Now,
I mean, he's been great on the mic, but that was I can see why people think like, is there actually heat between these two? Like,
is this the inevitable longest match on the card?
Let me take a quick look down the list. I mean, yeah, it has to be, right?
The only
it makes the most sense.
The only match that could really top it would be Young Bucks Hardys, but I don't think Jeff Hardy can wrestle for 20
I don't
minutes.
think I don't think it'll go that
or maybe
long.
Anarchy in Arena.
That
could also go long.
I was gonna say that's based on just the amount of names in the match, and also we're not sure what the stipulation is, so it could go just as long as the main event.
So here we go. So is who's winning this match? Because I can literally see Hangman losing this match.
A lot of people seem to be there seems to be some rumblings that CM Punk might be getting ready for a heel title run, but a heel
title.
I don't know, man. It seems like something that he's been like kind of chopping at the bits to get to, but the fact that he came in like the way he did, and how much he just wanted to get back in the ring with all these different guys in AEW and have this opportunity to wrestle them. Like, I always had this thought, like, oh, he's never gonna win the world title. He's always gonna be there to just because it's CM Punk. Like, every match with him is going to be a good match, or a lot of people are gonna care about it. But I don't know. Like, lately, especially with the way this feud's been going, I feel like the tides might be turning. But I think the finality of it, after a valiant effort and a lot of blood, I think Hangman does take this win.
Yeah, and I'm leaning towards Hangman because I'm just thinking back at Hangman's title defenses. Yeah,
because think about this, right? The AEW Championship had significantly long reigns. Like, I would say, like pretty. I mean, there's only been isn't he only the fourth champion?
He's the fourth champion.
Yeah, I can't see him losing it this soon. It seems like it's too early.
He was how long? Let me do this. He defeated.
When did he defeat Kenny? Was that the end of last year? Or was it this year?
Yes, that was the end of last year. Because I remember the Young Bucks looking at.
Oh right, yeah.
Looking at Hangman's like, nah, and like, yo, it's it's okay. So let me see the reigns. Jericho's reign was 182. Mox's was 277. Kenny's was 346. Jeez. Woo. And Hangman's has been 194. So he's been champion for the better part. He went at Full Gear last year. So he's been champion since November 13th. We're about to enter June. So he could lose. He could lose 190. That'd be what, 197. The outlier is that Mox and Kenny had ridiculously long reigns. Mox was champion. Mox was champion.
He carried the company through the pandemic.
Moxley was champion for 277 days. What the fuck?
I know. I mean, he was just fucking dudes up
I
on
do
that. And
I don't remember his reign. Yo, his reign was almost 3 years long.
I feel
Almost
like
a year
that
long.
I feel like a lot of that just has to do with just like that whole period. Yeah, that whole period is going to be like a blur for a lot of people. I feel like
I will never ever forget disrespect. More specifically, do you know who has the longest championship reign in the history of AEW right now in their short history?
Let me think here. In the history of AEW, the longest reign, would it happen to be Hikaru Shida?
372 days as women's champion.
I knew it. She was just queen of the castle for the longest fucking time. That's why I was like I was extra bummed for her when she lost, because like Britt was getting built up. Everyone was cheering her. You knew the time was coming. And then 4 days before, hey, check out this brand new title. I'm like, oh, poor Sheeta, man.
Don't
She
worry.
fought the thing for 4 days for a cup of coffee.
Britt didn't get to hold the new title.
Right.
Either.
That's a good point, though. Good point.
I'm going to go with. You know what? I'm gonna ride with you. I'm gonna go with Hangman to win, to I guess initiate the CM Punk heel turn. But here's the thing: CM Punk's so over.
Could we be in for the double turn? Well, it wouldn't be a double turn. It would be more just him.
Can he really go heel at this point? Like, they tried Bryan Danielson as a heel, and I don't even think Bryan Danielson was a heel right before he joined the BCC. I think he was just mean.
Yeah, like I mean, they really tried to get people to hate him. Like he was beating dudes and like in a submission while flexing, and I'm like, yo, this is so too much.
Why would I boo this?
That's what I'm saying. Like he's so good. Like how do you not love him or respect him in the ring? Like,
so you know what? Here, you know what? I'm going to say Hangman wins. Just because I feel like something's got to happen with CM Punk for Forbidden Door. And
what are they going to be doing, you think, with that?
He's not
facing Kenta.
He's not facing Kenta. The one match we all love Okada, and I do believe Okada will have a match at Forbidden Door. I do believe it. But honestly, the one match that we legitimately want to see is CM Punk versus Kenta. And
I've been wanting to see that for years.
And we won't get this match. We're probably going to get CM Punk versus Tanahashi, which is going to be great. But I want Punk versus Kenta.
Yeah, I mean that's the big problem, right? Like especially with this Forbidden Door event coming up, when you have two companies that are working together like this, there's like politics come into play more than anything. Because you have guys that can't really lose, and then also you have to take into the account where usually the bigger company kind of they're mostly getting the spoils.
Now,
so you got to kind of keep that.
One company versus company feud actually ended up very, very well, and a lot of people don't know about it. There was an invasion / company versus company feud when it was Ring of Honor versus Combat Zone Wrestling, and the feud was great, and the feud ended because each company was like, well, we can't keep beating the shit out of each other and putting our guys in hospital, so they called the truce, and that literally ended with both companies looking great in the end. So this, and the fact that Forbidden Door is the next pay-per-view, June pay-per-view. I almost corrected myself to say premium live event. It's the next show.
How dare you?
Do you try to fit storylines into, like, AEW only has so much time, and I think you can do certain stuff here and there, but just because of this upcoming event, gotta go with Hangman. Every champion, TNT, TBS, Tag Team, Women's World, all about their reigns, they at least have one crowning, defining victory match, and I don't think Hangman has that just yet. So I think he gets that with CM Punk. I mean, they just did it with Britt Baker. Britt had good wins, she had good matches, but she got her true defining win when she defeated Thunder Rosa at Revolution.
Yeah, that's true.
So Hangman, I think because of that promo, he has to beat CM Punk at this point.
Yeah, I think after that promo,
you can't talk all this shit and like not win. He has to win this match.
I mean, yeah, unless CM Punk wins just completely dirty, I don't see that title changing hands. Yeah. And even if it did, that would be shocking, right? Yes. Like world title changing hands. And if
CM Punk does it dirty, Punk does it dirty, he's got to go full on dirty, like when Daniel Bryan went dirty and fucking low blow at AJ Styles with the WWE Championship, because that came out of left field.
Yeah,
it was completely random. He just kicked him in the dick, and it was what?
Yep.
And then we got the fucking.
That's like WWE's favorite thing to do, though. Like once it's like they never knew that you could do that, and then when they figured it out, they're like, all right, now every other match is going to end this way. Every other big match. Don't forget
when Nakamura was just low blowing everybody for a whole summer.
Dude, I was just thinking that when he was like, he would low blow AJ Styles so hard, like he would lift him off the ground, and like that face he would make after he did it. Oh, was that like, it was like the small time where I was like, all right, this is kind of interesting. They're doing something different with him, but
all you had to do was give us.
I feel bad that he's stuck over there.
They just had to give us AJ Styles. All they just said was, "Yo, go out and do your Wrestle Kingdom match." That's it. No,
right.
None of the matches in the AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura feud were good. I think there was one that was like, it was a SmackDown and it was good.
Like they had the world title on the line at WrestleMania and it sucked. Like you couldn't tell anybody that and they would believe you before it happened. Like, how is that even possible?
So, I think
too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think we're both settled on Hangman. There is another match. No. I don't think there are any more. I think we're good with the 11. I really can't see any of these other matches on the card. I could see Jade versus Anna being moved to the pre-show, which wouldn't be a bad thing because you would still have two women's matches on the main card. But let's run down our winners again. So I got Hookhausen over Tony Nese, Smart Mark Sterling. Jade over Anna, Death Triangle over House of Black, Young Bucks over Hardys, JAS over Mox and Crew, Warlow over MJF, Ruby over Britt, Adam Cole over Samoa Joe, Team Taz to win the AEW World Tag Team Championships, Thunder Rosa over Serena Deeb, and Hangman Page over CM Punk. And yeah, I think Tyler and I only disagreed on like what match did we disagree on? Was it Samoa Joe and Cole?
No, wasn't it Hardys and Young Bucks?
Hardys and Young Bucks. So you picked the Hardys? No,
I picked the Young Bucks for that one.
You picked Young Bucks. I picked the Hardys. Yeah. So this is it's gonna be, I'm so glad Monday's Memorial Day, so I can actually like watch the show and do an actual recording and not have to force myself to go to sleep and then be left out. Great point. Best.
Hey, just be happy that you're not in Europe's time zone. Where like, man, there's like what culture and all that. Man, they like stay up till like 5 a.m. because they have to get this content out. It is brutal.
Yeah. So, this is going to be a fun show. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's right. The only other potential match could be Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara versus Paige Van Zandt, not Ethan Page or Scorpio Sky.
Yeah.
But I don't think this. They're not just gonna say, "Hey, here's this match," and we're also just gonna randomly give you Paige Van Zandt's debut.
Yeah, they wouldn't just announce it like unless like I mean, obviously there's still Rampage to go, but I can't really see that happening.
Because we still got to get Ethan versus Sammy. We still got to get Paige versus Ty. But that feud's all over the fucking place. But Double or Nothing this Sunday. It's looking good. It's so crazy. Just you go and just look at AEW pay-per-view cards and like, man, fire.
We're spoiled.
just
we're kind of spoiled.
Just fire. I listen, and they know it. I remember the Eddie CM Punk feud, and the match just starts with Eddie but the match didn't even start. Eddie just gave CM Punk a spinning back fist. And Rimsburg, I think Rimsburg was the ref. He was like, "What, Eddie? You can't do that." It's real to Eddie, people. It's real to Eddie. So, yeah. Thank you all for listening, watching. Catch me out on my socials. We got Twitter, the 215 spelled out. Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Don't forget to check out Charismatic Gaming. Starting in July, I will be streaming Multiversus. I was part of the closed alpha. Please nerf Taz. Please.
Good point.
But yeah, Tyler, your socials, where can they find you, sir?
You guys can check me out on Twitter at Trooper_. Also on YouTube under my name Trooper as well. I put up a lot of esports related content there. I am starting a wrestling YouTube channel. Still working on the opening content for that, but I think I'm leaning towards the name Have a Nice Day. I thought it was a pretty nice name for the channel, so I'm gonna be rolling with that. Hopefully next month I'll be starting that up. But yeah, Twitter Trooper_ if you guys want to find me there. And thank you for having me on the show, man. This was a blast.
No problem. Next week we will be doing sadly the Hell in a Cell preview and prediction show. And I remember last year's I think I did Hell in a Cell month. We were just getting started with the Hell in a Cell month, and I was like, the worst Hell in a Cell matches, the best Hell in a Cell matches. While the matches watered down, we know the matches watered down. I'm just letting you know, I really don't need to see Cody and Seth for a third time. I definitely don't need to see Omos and Bobby Lashley for a third.
Oh man,
time.
I mean,
and mind
how
you,
many times are we gonna see the Miz versus Cody Rhodes?
We're gonna get that soon. And mind you, folks, Ronda Rousey doesn't have an opponent because her potential opponent walked out of.
That's true.
And the show is soon. Ronda was not on Smash. Listen. Anyway, that's our show.
Stories for another time.
Yes, and as always, Wendy Chu, Xia Li, Gigi Dolan's, and Nikita Lyons. Also, get well. Fucked up our MCL rehab.
Just heard about that today.
Yeah. So y'all, you lovely ladies can always holla at your boy. Peace.